Hey, good morning. Hope you're having a great day. To start, just wanted to go over the proverb that I was thinking about today as I was driving, and we're in chapter 23, so it was verse 4, and it said, "Do not overwork to be rich, because of your own understanding cease." And I started thinking about this because I have traditionally been somebody who is a bit of a workaholic, and I think this verse sets itself up to be misunderstood. There's a lot of times verses that get misquoted and misrepresented, and I think this could be one of them. Similar to the verse that says, the love of money is the root of all evil, and a lot of times it gets requoted as money is the root of all evil, and it's not. It's the love of money. And so once again, I was thinking about this verse. It doesn't say do not work to be rich. It says do not overwork to be rich. And so as I was contemplating this, I was thinking about what does it mean to overwork, right? And this has been a struggle for me in my life because I was raised by a man who was a very hard worker and who prioritized hard work. And there's verses in the Bible that say, if a man will not work, neither let him eat. And he who does not provide for his own family is worse than an unbeliever. And so sometimes these verses can be kind of drilled into us when we're young, and it creates an attitude that working hard in any quantity, in any amount, is noble and is admirable. And that was probably the idea that developed in my mind, was just work, work, work. And sometimes work can be used as an escape when other things in our lives are not going well, and this was true of me as well. When my marriage was struggling, and it was like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to avoid the confrontation. I'm going to avoid the problems, and so I'm just going to work, right? And it can easily be mentally, internally dismissed away because, well, work is being a hard worker is a good quality, and so therefore I kind of give myself a pass on the fact that I'm really overworking. And so as I contemplated, what does it mean to overwork? I had to think about what does God tell us to be content with, right? And it says, with food, shelter, and clothing, with these be content. So I think overworking can be more tied to our mental attitude, and not just how many quote unquote hours a day are we working or busy with our work. Because for me, it's like work takes up my mental attention, right? And it can become so much anxiety and so much stress, perhaps sometimes, that you can't seem to focus on anything else. You can't give your family the attention that they need, your wife or your kids or other people. You don't have time to serve anybody else. You don't have time to consider anybody else. And kind of everything about your mental state is really tied up with your work and your pursuit of becoming rich, and which is what the verse is saying, right? It's about don't overwork to be rich, right? And so there's that idea that the love of money or the pursuit of money, the focus of money, is what I believe the verse is really implying. And so, like I said, that's just what I was thinking about today, is kind of contemplating the idea of overworking and how I balance, the responsibility of work and the nobility of being a hard worker and a good provider, but understanding the imbalance that can exist and how we can fall into the traps of overworking and letting work become a greater part of our mental focus than it ought to be. So hopefully this helps you and is encouragement to you, and hope you have a great day. Thanks.